your life is on the line and you know that you're on an oxygen tank and they're going to put you in your head, see what you do. Because the bottom line is that me, I'm one person. I can never miss.
Guy's not being loyal to you. How could you be loyal to him?
Yeah,
and whether you're your father or not. So, you know, but it's always been hard because it was my father.
The word came down, this guy had to go. You know, we didn't know nothing about him until the last minute. And I liked him. I liked Bill. He was a nice guy, but...
Welcome to the show. To this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Jersey Joe.
Look, they got the message. They knew. And we're talking about these are scrawny little guys, okay? I mean, I'm a little guy, but these are guys that aren't street guys. They ain't tough guys. These guys had a system figured out, and they figured they could beat them. Most of them were nerds, to be honest with you. They were college students, or they were real smart guys.
Yeah.
But you can't outsmart the system. The system knows when you keep winning hand after hand after hand, something's up. Either the dealer's in on it or something's up. And then once they see that, they put a stop to it. So that's a little taste of the junket side and the inside of the casino side.
So Tony Spilatro was there. He had a major role in bringing the money to Chicago, right? The scam,
correct?
Or was he just like the overseer of down there?
Well, Tony was the primary guy that the Chicago outfit sent out here to keep an eye on things, make sure things ran smooth. Make sure nobody tried to do the over the cage jump. People weren't trying to rip off the casinos or create problems. But Lefty Rosenthal really was the genius of Vegas. Lefty brought in, and this is how classic this is. Today you'll laugh at it, but back then this was state of the art. Lefty brought in the first sports book in Las Vegas at the Stardust. Huge room, giant projection cameras and screens. Every single game you could think of was on there. Now, the guys that were inside with Lefty, and they were inside with other people, would tell him, hey, you know, take Duke, give up the 6.5. Those guys would run out of the casino to the parking lot where Lefty put 12 payphones on the side of the wall. And they would call New York, Chicago, LA, Florida. They'd call all of their cronies and they'd say, what do you want on Duke giving up the 6? And these guys would say, put me in for a dime, 10 G's. Okay? You're down 10 G's on a dime. And that's what they did. And today, if you think about it, there was no gambling outside of Las Vegas, right? And these guys were gambling every day. They just ran out the door and went to the payphone and they put everything in. It's just like you and I.
So back then, you're on the phone. What is it? Kind of like credit? So the guy on the phone wants to place a bet for 10 grand. He can't just give you the money. How do you do that? Like, wire it to him?
That's correct. They Western Union the money out, or the guy had an account with the bookie. The bookie was the guy at the phone book from Vegas. So he had an account with him.
Like, say, wire it to me and I'll just handle it.
Yeah. Your credit rate now is 25 grand. That's what you got on the books. How much you want to put on the Duke game? Put a dime on the Duke game. Even if I lose, I still got 15 G's on the books. Now, if you call up and say, look, I hit Duke for 10. What do I got on the books now? You got 36. Okay. So now you got 36 G's. I want you to Western Union me a check for 10 G's. And the guy would Western Union a check for 10 G's. But I mean, it cracked me up back then where gambling wasn't legal anywhere in America, but you could step right out of 2 major casinos and you had all the gambling you wanted. Anything you wanted to bet on, you could bet on. 2 roaches running on the floor. Roach 1 is a favorite. And they'd be calling on the phone saying, which roach do you want?
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But I mean, that's the way it was back then.
But at
It
first,
was just
before they went to Las Vegas, they were eyeing Cuba for this to take
that's
place,
correct.
right?
That's correct. But then you got John F. Kennedy and you got Bobby Kennedy stepping in and putting a stop to everything. Now, John F. Kennedy would have never got elected if it wasn't for Frank Sinatra and Sam Giancana. Okay, because Sam went to the unions, Teamsters primarily, and said everybody votes for Kennedy. Because Nixon almost won that race. John F. Kennedy only won by a few thousand votes. It wasn't like it was a landslide.
Yeah, Nixon was huge.
I don't know the
then,
exact number. Pardon?
Nixon was huge back then.
Oh, Nixon was huge, yeah, and he almost won. I mean, he only got defeated by a few thousand votes across America, which is nothing, right? But yeah, it was a crazy time, you know. And then what does Robert Kennedy do? He says, we're putting a stop to this organized crime, these Italians. That's a problem, right? So that's a big time problem. Here's the people that put your guy in office. And I know this really well because some of my friends today, first, my dearest friend was Frank Sinatra's bodyguard and trainer. He also trained Sylvester Stallone for Rambo 3. Wow. He worked out with Arnold Schwarzenegger all the time. This guy's still a monster. He's 66, but he's still a monster. These guys had no shot if it wasn't for Frank Sinatra. And to hear the stories about Frank Sinatra it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. The guy had so much class. He was such a straight up guy. If you walked up to him on the street and said, "Hey, Frank, can I get your autograph?" Or hey, you know, I'm playing blackjack with my wife. Would you come over and say hi? Frank would walk over and pull out a couple hundred and say, "What are they betting? $3? We're talking in the 70s. Okay, so a $3 bet was a $20 bet today." He'd go, here's 100. Dealer. Deal him 2 cards. The dealer would deal 2 cards. It would be a bust. He'd go, take 1 card away. The dealer take 1 card away, say, put another card down. He'd look at the pit boss. Pit boss would nod his head. And he'd put out a 6. He'd go, "Oh, what do you got?" "I got 19. Perfect. He'll stand." "What do you got?" Dealer would turn over 20, say, "Take 1 of your cards and put another card there." The dealer would take a look over at the pit boss. Pit boss would nod his head. And he'd put out a 7 and then an 8, and he'd bust. And then the lady would win, like 10 or 20 bucks. But I mean, those are true stories. That really happened. And it was so amazing to be back in those days because you never knew who you were going to run into. You just never knew. And everybody was a straight up guy. You didn't have issues, Billy.
Like today,
there wasn't.
Like it is.
Oh,
it's wild. Today is just wild. It really is.
Well, I've always said this. When you put a bunch of bookkeepers in charge of an organization, no matter what organization it is, you got issues. Because the only thing that they look at is the number. That's all they care about, the number. It's not about people anymore. See, back in the day, I'd walk into Caesars and I'd go to my casino host. Bobby Brown was his name. And I'd go to Bobby and I'd say, "Hey, Bobby, I need dinner for 2 at the high-end restaurant there." He said, No problem, Jersey. I got you. Hey, Celine Dion is going to have her first performance You want front row tickets for that? Nah, but give me 2 for Siegfried and Roy. Got it, Jersey. Whatever you want. And look, I wasn't a big baller. I'm not talking about a guy that was betting 10 and 20 G's like some of those guys out of New York. I was just a straight up guy, and my casino host knew that when I was gambling, I'm gambling. And they took care of you. Today, I go to any one of those casinos right there, and I ask for a buffet for 2. And you know what they tell me? You know, Jersey, you haven't been playing that much lately. And I say, don't worry about it.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I say? I say, don't worry about it. I'll buy my own buffets. But you know where I'm going to buy them?
Somewhere
I'm going to
else.
buy them at the South. Yeah, I'm going to buy them at the South Point, where I know somebody will respect me. You just disrespected me. And you don't disrespect me. It's not going to happen. So, and I walk out. And then they're calling me a month later saying, oh, we're real sorry, man. And that kid didn't know what he was talking. I'll give you, this is a great story, Billy. Billy, yes, I'm going to give you one real great story. Big casino out here, huge. Don't want to mention a name again, but they have a chain of casinos, okay? So that'll give you some idea, maybe if you know who they are. So I call my casino host and I say, look, I got these 4 guys coming in from LA. I want to take them to Louis Anderson. He was performing at the Palace Station. And I want to get 4 tickets. My casino host says, hey, Jersey, you know, we can't get 4 tickets. I said, it's a Wednesday night. It's 7:30 p.m. on a Wednesday night. He couldn't put 40 people in that room, and I want to fill it with 4 more people. And they said, the best we can do is 2. I'm pissed. So I'm walking out of the casino and I see the general manager. And he goes, Jersey. I go, Joey, how you doing? He goes, what's the matter? I go, I'm pissed. He said, what are you pissed about? I said, let me tell you, I want 4 tickets for that fat fuck Louis Anderson. You cut that out if you want. Okay? I'm just giving it to you the way. I'm giving it to you the way I said it to him. For Wednesday night at 7:30. And my casino host tells me the best he could do is 2 for a $29 show. All I want to do is take these 4 people out of LA to have a good time. He said, I got you. So I come in the next day and I see the pit boss. His name's Bobby D. I say, Bobby D, did you hear what happened? He said, you know, I heard something about tickets or something. I said, yeah. This asshole, I won't mention his name, said I could only have 2 tickets because he's still there. He still works there. And he said, Jersey, I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. I said, well, Joe said he's got me, the GM. He said, nah, but I'm going to back it up. I got you. So I said, okay. So I'm now, Billy, this is the best. I'm leaving, and the director of slot host sees me. Now, I never met her before. She comes running over and said, aren't you Jersey Joe? I said, yeah. She said, I heard about your situation with your casino host. I'm now your new casino host. And don't worry about the Louis Anderson tickets. I said, yeah, Joe said he'd take care of it. Yeah, we know. So now, Bill, my 4 buddies out of LA and me, 3 girls. I'm going to pay for the girls. I was just getting the other ones. 3 girls. We go to Palace Station. I go up to the VIP counter. I said, I'm Jersey Joe. You got 4 tickets for me. And the girl goes, hold on. She walks in the back, brings out the manager. The manager says, oh, Jersey, so nice to meet you. I said, well, thank you. Thank you for coming out. That was very polite. She says, no, 4. I have 12 tickets for you. Now, I couldn't get 4 from my casino host, but when I arrived, now I got 12. So I took all 12.
You got 4 from each person, right? Like 4.
Right.
4.
Right. I got 12 tickets. Now I go in the line and I'm finding these young couples that, you know, they're struggling to pay the $49 for the ticket. I say, you guys going to Louis? They say, yeah. I say, here's 2 tickets, compound Jersey. And so I found, you know, I gave away 8 tickets. Well, actually, I didn't. Because I got the girls in for free that came with them, and we all went for free. But I mean, that's just today's mentality.
You froze.
Nobody takes care of anybody. I see that. No, we're back.
Oh, you're good. You're back.
But back in the day, everybody took care of everybody. It's just the way it was. This town was safe as could be. Yeah.
It was more personable, right?
Oh yeah, way more. Listen, your wife could walk down the strip or off the strip any time of the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.